Hello and welcome to WTF, where we help you transform food in your kitchen. I'm Janie.
I'm Roman.
And today we're showing you how to make a fantastic keto donut. And we're making this because Roman has said, what did you tell me? How many donuts do you eat?
I can eat about 5 in a sitting.
Yeah, and he said, I eat a donut every day. And I was like, that's a lot for like a little twig of a man. But yeah, we're excited to share with you this fantastic new recipe that I think we would agree. It is as good as any donut you can buy from a store.
I can't complain. The first time that we started making this donut, I was a little bit surprised because I'm a huge donut guy. And I was like, keto? All right, let's try it. And when we put it together, it was amazing. It came out great.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let Roman get started with the ingredients to show you exactly how to do this step by step. It's really easy. All right, take it away.
All right, here we go. So today we're gonna put this awesome keto donut together for you. We have our dry ingredients and we have our wet ingredients. Super simple, super easy. So we'll start by adding our almond flour into our dry. We use pork rinds here because pork rinds actually helps the donut hold together very well. It gives it a really, really nice texture.
Yeah, and what did you do to these pork rinds in order to make them not super greasy, which was a great tip?
So what I do is the night before we're gonna make these donuts, I take the ground up pork rinds and I put them in between a couple of paper towels and a vacuum sealer, and I pressurize it, and that expels all of the grease, extra fat out of those pork rinds into those paper towels. So that way you don't have an overly greasy donut.
Yeah, and it makes a huge difference in the texture.
Big
Like we
time.
did it one without, one with, and you know, that's a step. Do not skip it.
Please don't. Okay, so next we'll go with our Allulose sugar substitute, Sorbitol sugar substitute. Here we got our I'm Free baking powder. Jane, you want to give them a little?
Yeah. So there are two ingredients in this. The first being the I'm Free baking powder, and then the second is what's in this other little bowl.
This is the gluten replacement.
Yeah, the I'm Free gluten replacement. And you need those two because if you've done any type of keto baking before, you know no gluten, no volume, you're getting like a brick or it's just gonna pancake out. So in order for this dough to hold any type of volume, you need something that's going to give it that volume and then hold it as it bakes. So the baking powder is double acting, which means that it doesn't release its rise until it's in the oven, which means you're gonna get a nice lift as it's cooking. And then the gluten replacement at that same time is going to provide the structure that otherwise you get from flour and from gluten. So you really need those two in any type of keto baking if you're looking for like a stability and structure.
It does make all the difference.
It really does.
All right, so now I'm going to combine the dry. You want to get this nice and combined. All right, so now that we have our dry ingredients combined, we are going to add the wet ingredients. So we'll start by adding our egg, milk, our melted butter, and vanilla. All right, now we'll combine this. Care not to over combine it. I usually go about a minute and a half, just to get this all together and ready to go into our donut molds. One of the big important factors when making this donut is to make sure that you have all your wet ingredients at room temperature. Because if you don't, you will be left with a big glop and you won't be able to really mix it very well. So it is very, very important. I let the wet ingredients sit out for about an hour at room temperature, and that helps bring it to a good temperature to be able to get a nice mix into the dry ingredients. All right, I think our mix is ready to go.
Okay.
So here I have a piping bag in a nice little mason jar, and I'm going to get my batter into here. I like to use the piping bag because I have a little bit more control, so when I'm putting it into the donut mold, it's not messy. You can use a spoon if you like to, but I think this method is tried and true. Also, it's in the mason jar just because if you're doing it on your own, you don't need a second person to hold it while you put in the batter, which sometimes, could be a little bit messy. So here we go. Now that we have our batter in our squeeze bag, we can go ahead and fill up our donut molds. for our keto donuts. There's a big reason why we use the donut molds and we don't just drop them into a fryer. Janie will explain that to you.
Okay, I think you could have done it too, but I will explain it to you. So the reason is, of course, as we said with the structure, anything that you make that is keto, there's just not enough gluten and stability in there. It's going to pancake out. So the molds essentially help you have a structure to hold it in place until the gluten replacement has an opportunity to help set the donut. And also we find, and you'll see this, once we have a finished donut, is that these donuts are a little bit porous. They're not as dense as a traditional flour donut. So if we fry them, they're just gonna sop up all that oil and be really gross.
Yes, they will. Excellent. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and spray our molds. We wanna get them nice and coated. Otherwise they will stick. We'll cut our tip and we will get this batter into the mold. Here we go. As you can see, very, very easy to do. And using the piping bag gives you an incredible amount of control. All right, so now that we have our oven up to temperature, we're gonna get our donuts inside. So today we're gonna cook these at 325 for 10 minutes. Okay, so now that we have our donuts in the oven, we are gonna make a quick glaze for them when they come out. All right, so we have allulose sugar substitute, sorbitol sugar sub, some melted butter, and a little bit of water, about a teaspoon. We're gonna give this a mix, and then we're gonna set this in the oven for 30 seconds. That'll give us the required heat to break these sugar substitutes down and make our glaze. Okay, once that glaze does come out, it will need to sit for a few seconds because it's a little bit hot, and so if you try to put your donuts into that glaze, what will happen is it'll seep right into the donuts. So we'll bring that out, we'll let it sit for about 3 or 4 minutes. We'll rest our donuts for about a good 2-3 minutes, and then we'll put our glaze on our donuts. All right, it looks like our donuts are ready. All right, and we'll let these sit for about a minute before we get them into our nice tray. See, these came out really, really nice. So we're gonna get these out onto our tray. All right, there you go. They look great. I can't wait to sink my teeth into these. All right, now that we have our glaze rested, our donuts also doing the same, we are going to get some of that glaze on there. I really can't wait to try these donuts. They look so good. We're gonna get this nice, beautiful glaze on these donuts, and we are going to sink our teeth into them. I can't wait. I know my dental hygienist will be very upset at this. But you know what? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. All right, let's do it.
Okay, I'm back for the tasting.
All right, Janie, we have these donuts ready to go, glazed up. Let's try them out and see what we think.
All right, this is gorgeous. All right, here you go.
All right, and I'll take this guy.
Look at how pretty this looks.
That's beautiful.
I know. It's really bouncy, so you can see it's got a lot of give, it's got a lot of volume, it's super tender. Yeah, look at this donut. It's delicious.
Wow. Yep, that is good.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the lemon zest glaze perfectly brings that acidity that you need in a keto donut because it is by nature, it's going to be oilier.
Of course.
And so you need something to cut through all that. And so right now I'm getting like a soft, fluffy donut with just a beautiful, zesty, fresh glaze. This is amazing. Go onto the blog and get this recipe, blog.modernistpantry.com. And until next week, we'll see you here in the test kitchen. I'm Janie.
I'm Roman, and we'll have more for you later.
Cut.
Go.
Wait.
You ate that whole donut in the time. I ate like 2 bites.
It was good.
No, they're like, that guy really does love donuts. He wasn't lying.
I'm not lying.
Yeah.
I really love donuts.